genuinely impressed by something you've done. You know, maybe surprised, maybe almost against odds. You thought, that went pretty well, didn't it? That was all right. Or perhaps the other way, perhaps you've done something, then objectively you look back on it and go, oh, that was awful. That really didn't go the way I wanted it to. You'll usually, for me, I'll know, because I'll end a service and they'll say, nice hymns. Especially when it's usually not me who's chosen them. I think, oh, thank you. But yes, sometimes we have to give that kind of feedback. So you know when you're asked your opinion on something, and you know objectively you want to tell the person that was awful, but you can't because we're nice people. We don't do that. I live in this space constantly at the moment with little children. Okay, every parent knows this, but we can pretend we don't. We do. When every child comes up to you to show you a piece of artwork they've made, we know what this is like. You know, they'll come to you with zero warning and say, Daddy, look at this picture I drew. And as a parent, we know two things immediately when our children bring us a picture like this. We know two things categorically. Firstly, we are not looking at the next Van Gogh. We know for a fact this is not going to be the case. And secondly, we know we're about to lie. Okay? We know this. We've accepted this as parents. We know. And this isn't fire and brimstone lies. These are kind lies, if such a thing can exist. These are, encouraging lies that you can think of maybe. Grace-filled things. The kind of lie that encourages them to think, maybe one day you'll figure out which end of the crayon to use. That kind of lie, that kind of encouragement, And right now, my kids are, and Opie's getting better. My children's artwork, it's at a point where it's, let's say it's abstract, it's not quite fully realised, and yet, it is more of getting a pen and just attacking the paper. It looks like Jackson Pollock after 5 espressos, but they'll present it to you with great joy, and say, oh, Daddy, look, I've drawn you, and you'll look at it going, I didn't know I looked like a traffic accident, but there you are. You figure it out. And you try and figure out what they've drawn. You try and, you smile, you summon fake enthusiasm. Oh, this is amazing. This is so, look at that line. So bold. So, evocative stuff. Wonderful. You try and, inspire them. And they know when it's truly inspirational because the lad doesn't kind of put it on the fridge. That's where graduating great work goes as a child. It goes to the fridge. It's absolutely Picasso Jr. Let us put your work on the fridge, because nothing will inspire me more as I write my shopping list of eggs, ham, and therapy. Absolutely. I want your work to gaze on in such moments. And we've all done it. But the issue is one day, that kindness has got to reach a limit, because at some point, as sad as it may be, I don't own a museum. That work eventually is going to have to come off the fridge. Eventually it's got to go somewhere. And that place is the bin. That's where it's got to go. Okay? Don't judge me. Any parent who's had that many papers, some of it ends up in the bin. We all know. Eventually it gets too full. And the way you get around this is say, I'm looking forward to the next one. I enjoy your artwork so much, I want to make room for your next one. And you encourage them to go away and try again. You encourage them, say, I want you to keep this up, I want you to keep trying, go and do another one, and we will put that on the fridge. And you have sort of a repeating cycle going. And it's a gentle way of saying, look, the former thing is past, time for something new. Yeah? You want to keep going. It's a gentle way of saying that. And we struggle with this as individuals. Kids are great at it. The more adult we become, the worse we get at letting go of the former things. Genuinely awful at this. On my bookshelf, every year Conference sends out to their ministers a directory of everyone in the connection. I still have the 2022 Conference directory on my shelf. Just in case someone might need it. Just in case someone will call me and ask for someone's name who's only in the 2022 Conference records. I am there. And we have all done this with something. We all have things in our house that we have no point in keeping, but we refuse to let it go because we think it might come in handy. We all have this. We long for the day when someone will call us. I live in, especially with that book, I expect the district chair to one day call me. say, Blayze, synod is coming up and I need you, my friend. I need you. I need to know the name of the first person with the letter F in the 2022 conference directory. Can you help me? Of course I can. Wait there, sir. I will find out for you. But that's not all. That's not all, Blayze. I need more help. I need 12 batteries with no charge in them left. Do you have any? I have a full drawer, sir. Don't worry. I have kept them for such an occasion. Thank you, Blayze. There's other things I'll need for this synod as well. I need the instruction manual from an Asda toaster that you no longer own. Of course! I knew the day would come, and I've been waiting eagerly. Thank you, Blayze, thank you. If there's but one more thing I could ask of you, but one more thing, it's a tough one. That's all right, son, that's all right. I'm here for you, as your loyal minister in the circuit. What can I get for you? I need a series of cables for which you don't know what they connect to. I would call to my wife, fetch my box of mysteries. Absolutely. Not a problem. Even more so, actually, Blayze, we'd like to do it in one of your locations, in your church. But we found a church, and there is many doors, and we don't know where the key is. I don't suppose you have a box of useless keys that might fit. I have a full drawer, sir. Not a worry at all. I will bring my many keys. I live in hope of this phone call. We all do. We have things in the house we hold on to because we don't. You look at it and you think, it might come in handy. I might need this. My generation don't even read instruction manuals anymore. But I've still got them in case they come in handy. I keep these things. There is a full shelf currently on my bookshelf of conference directories. It's updated every year, but they might need the 2022 edition soon enough. We live in that. And you talk to churches, they have this idea. You know, we're doing church council tomorrow, and we maybe fall in the trap of this even tomorrow. You never know. Why do we do this? We've always done it this way. We have that. We don't like to let things go. We've always done it this way. Of course we have. The worst one is when we say, well, better the devil you know. People in churches say this. I find that insane. As if Jesus in the wilderness is being tempted, and instead of casting away Satan, goes, well, better the devil you know. No, you cast it away. I met up with, I won't name him, I met up with a higher-up minister in the district. You know when you seek re-invitation, you have to fill out a form about that person, whether you're happy for them to stay, things like that. He read his re-invitation form, and one of his churches said, better the devil you know. I think that was his sign to move on, you know? What a shocking thing for a church to say, but we don't like to let go of the former things. We like to keep hold of them. And we'll convince ourselves, well, if it helps for one person, then it was worthwhile. And we live under that trap, you know? If that cable, if that instruction manual, if that can help in one sense, in one day, then it's worth keeping hold of. And we will begin to be hoarders for this very reason. And the thing is, as churches, we like the idea of something new. We really do. And we hope for it. We pray for it. You might have heard the verse quoted very often. It's actually from Isaiah 43, verse 19. It says, behold, I am doing a new thing. We like to say it to each other a lot. Behold, I am doing a new thing. We'll gather with great excitement. We'll talk about the state of faith in the country. And we'll say, oh, the Lord is doing a new thing. And it excites us. It gets us very happy. Yes, the Lord is doing a new thing. What is it? Let's get a hold of it. Yes, something new is coming. Praise God, we're happy with that. But we never quote the verse that comes right before it. In Isaiah 43 verse 18 it says, remember not the former things, nor consider the things of old. In other words, before the new comes, you must let something go. We don't like that. We love the idea of something new. We love the idea of something exciting coming. We love the idea of a great new boom of something, but we don't like to let something go. We don't like that as humans. We have something that wills us against it. But the reality is, before God can call you to something new, chances are you have to let something go. As people, we're very good at filling a timetable. We're very good at keeping ourselves busy. So when something new comes, you have to let something go. And if you won't let something go, then nothing new will come. It's a reality. And then you've got the call of Abraham, or Abram, as he's known at this point. And if you find letting go of things difficult, you're in good company in the Bible. If you ever read Exodus chapter 3, where Moses is talking to the burning bush,
There's about 2 chapters there of him just making excuses for why he doesn't want to do something new. He's happy in the environment he is. He's got his family, he's got a nice little life, he's away from the issues of Egypt. He doesn't want to go back, he makes nothing but excuses, as if to go, I'm very happy with what's going on at the moment. Yet God calls him to something new. You've got Jonah, who very literally ran in the opposite direction rather than listening to the call of God. He didn't want that new thing. If we struggle to let go of the old, we're in good company. This happens a lot in the Bible. And yet, in Genesis 12, we see Abraham giving this wild call from God. Go from your country and your kindred and your father's house to the land I will show you. Paul refers to Abraham as good as dead. He's that old. And yet God says, leave your family, your kindred as it were, not your family, leave your kindred, leave your country, leave all these things that is comfortable to you and go. And what is so incredible about Abraham is we don't get 2 chapters of excuses. We don't see him running the other way. In fact, almost dramatically in Genesis 12:4, it just says, so Abraham went. It's a throwaway line. It happened so quickly. So Abraham went. Didn't argue. He went. He was willing to let go of the former things and simply go. There's no negotiation. There's no, oh, well, we've always done it this way. There's no, but I'm comfortable here. And yet he had every excuse. If ever there was a person who thought, you know what, maybe he's got reasons to argue, Abraham was probably it. He was 75 years old. He was living in a stable community. The end of Genesis 11 tells us that he was childless and that Sarai, she's known at that point, is barren and cannot have children. And yet God says to him, at this age, I want you to leave what is safe, what is comfortable, and I want you to go and I will make you a father of nations. That's ridiculous. That's an insane call. You'd have every reason to argue that and think, hang on, my wife's barren. How are we going to be a father of nations? I'm 75 and you think I'm going to leave everything and go into this wild new thing? He is a man who has every right to say, well, I've always done it this way. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. He's the perfect example. And yet the call is that he will become the father of nations. Every logical reason to argue, and yet he lets go of the former things. He lets go of the promise of his own comfort to follow God. And as Paul writes of it in Romans 4, Abraham becomes this model of faith, of what it means to follow the call of God. We like to refer to Abraham a lot when we think of these heroes of faith. And that beautiful line in Romans 4:18, in hope he believed against hope. Which makes brilliant sense for the call of Abraham. You think, well, hang on, father of nations, leaving what's comfortable, defying what has been accepted as reality, and yet he hopes against hope that the Lord's word will be proven true. He follows. Faith is the radical act of letting go of the known step in the promise of the unknown. That's what faith is. It's trusting God's new thing is better than the comfortable thing that we cling to. And that's what it means then to seek vision. As we look toward the future of this church even, we have a choice. We can cling to the directories of 2022, and we can cling to the past, we can cling to all that's there, or we can seek what God's purpose is for us today. We can seek what that vision is for us as a people today. And that's something that has to happen as an individual, it's something that has to happen as a community. That uncomfortable prayer that no doubt we all would, be horror-filled to actually speak, to think of what God might say back to us, this thing of, Lord, what do I need to let go of? What is a former thing that needs to be put down? And what is the new thing you are calling me to? As a church at Bolton Road, what is the former thing maybe that needs to be put down? What is the vision of the Lord for this place? What is it that we need to take up? And that's something every church should seek to ask. That's something every church should seek to wrestle with regularly. God, what is your vision for us? What is the prophecy you're speaking over us? In essence, is what God does to Abraham. He speaks a prophetic word over Abraham. He says, this is my prophecy. You will be this. I have told it. And Abraham has the faith to walk and to hope against hope. And Paul says it's a difference of legalism. If our faith, if we come here out of pure legalism, the idea that, well, I come here because I have to do this and I have to tick this box and I have to follow this command, then we will lose our salvation. We will lose our connection with God. We will fall short. We won't make it. But if, as Abraham shows, if faith is simply following where the Lord leads, then that is an enduring faith. Abraham becomes heir for the world because of his faith. He follows. It is counted to him as righteousness. Likewise, we are told, not by legalism, not by ticking boxes, but by faith we are led forward. I heard a brilliant sermon recently by a preacher who was saying Methodists were known for their methodical nature, for doing things very methodically, going out and being very methodical. And it's very true, we were very methodical people. But we forget that we were also mad. We were known as being mad people. And he was saying, there's the expression, there's method in the madness. We need to put the madness back into the method. And it's so true. In one of John Wesley's journals, he actually writes, I'm going to be more vile. How many Christians have that sort of prayer? I'm going to be more vile. And what he meant by that was the church had this expected reality of this is what the church does, this is where the church goes, and to deviate from that, that's a vile thing to consider. And John Wesley said, I am going to be more vile. I'm going to go to those places the church says we can't. I'm going to do those things that is said that we cannot do as God's people, and I'm going to go do it. Because that's where the Lord leads. I'm going to be more vile. I'm going to live by faith, not by the legalism of a church, but by faith given by God. And we count it to Wesley as righteousness. How often do we seek to put the madness back into Methodism? How often do we seek that new thing from the Lord rather than the former things? How often are our meetings simply ticking boxes of, well, this is what we're doing, this is how it's going, here's an update. How often is it, I feel the Lord's leading us somewhere? In Proverbs 29:18, especially in the King James Version, it says, where there is no vision, people perish. Where there is no vision, the people perish. I find that such a challenging verse. Where there is no vision, the people perish. It demands the question, what is the vision? I mean this as individuals, I mean this as a church. What is the vision? What is the prophetic word the Lord is speaking over you right now? And what is the prophetic word that he's speaking over Bolton Road Methodist Church? It is incumbent on every one of us to pray into that vision. Say, Lord, what are you leading us to? What is the vision of Bolton Road Methodist Church, and what is my place in it? Then to be able to stand up and share with one another, I feel the Lord is leading us in this way. The Lord has called us in this way, and I want us to pray over it. I want us to be mad with it. I want us to be vile with it. I want to take on the new thing. So this is maybe the question to consider as we move forward. As you look at your own life, and also the life of this church, what's one thing that's fridge-worthy? What is a fridge-worthy practice that was good for a season? That was a success, that did its job, but maybe time has come to make space for something new? And what is the new thing that God is preparing for us? What is the vision of the Lord for this place? Let's really wrestle with that. But let's not just wrestle with it, let's ask the question, let's have the boldness to be as Abraham was, to follow it, to hope against hope, and do the mad, vile thing the Lord is calling us to. Because I really feel we are on a precipice of something here in this church. And I think that's a powerful place to be.